Good morning, and welcome to another video chat here. My name is Reverend Onyx. I am the priest at Lady of the Circle in the Oaks in Lexington, North Carolina. This morning I'd like to discuss a little bit about my views on the Wiccan Rede. And it harm none, do as you will. Now, first of all, let's understand that the word Rede is not a law. It's advice, it's counsel. Going back and trying to figure out exactly where the Wiccan Rede came from, we'll discuss in another discussion that we'll have. But just suffice it to say that the origins of the Rede itself, the way it's worded today, goes back not a whole long time actually, but we'll discuss that at another time. I propose a reinterpretation of the Rede. Striking out on my own here a little bit maybe, but I propose that I see a lot of times when it is written, and it harm none, do as thou wilt, the will is capitalized, and it is generally when I write it. Now, the first allusion to do as you will came from a Frenchman by the name of Francois Rabelais. He was a Franciscan and later a Benedictine monk of the 16th century. Eventually he left the monastery to study medicine and moved to the French city of Lyon in 1532. It was there that he wrote Gargantua and Pantagruel, which was a connected series of books. They tell the story of two giants, a father and his son, and their adventures. It's written in a very amusing and grossly satirical vein, extravagant. He talks about the Abbey of Delaunay, where the monks do as they will. They just follow whatever they want to do. There's no clocks in the monastery. There's maid service in the monastery. There's a swimming pool in the monastery. Quite extravagant. Now, moving forward in time, according to Crowley, or Crowley more appropriately, every individual has a true will. And this is to be distinguished from the ordinary wants and desires. The true will is basically your true calling or purpose in life. The deity or the divine's will for you, what you should be doing. That's why, in reference to this, that's why I capitalize the word will and do as you will. We can go into this and it harm none, and I will here in just a second. But I believe the second part of that read is what we need to address first. Do as you will. If we are if we make all of our decisions in conjunction with or in deference to the true will, which is the divine plan, then all of these other virtues and things that we're going to talk about eventually will fall into place. Let's go back and talk about and it harm none a little bit. Well, some people will tell you, that you can't harm anything and be Wiccan. Well, that's a little bit extravagant, a little bit extremist, well, a lot extremist, because in order to survive, you have to harm. There's no way around it. Some neo-pagans or Wiccans are vegetarian because they say, I don't want to harm any animals when I eat. Well, as we profess, if we believe that that plants are living as well, which scientifically they are, then if we're eating vegetables, aren't we still harming? And if we believe that deity is within all things, then that life is just as sacred as our lives. So if we follow that very strictly and say harm none, how can we justify even eating? That's a little extremist, people. We have to take into consideration that we ourselves are living as well. We're living. So to harm ourselves would be to cause harm as well. So I suggest, as I believe many people will agree, that we take a middle road. I suggest, as far as harming is concerned, that we don't cause any unnecessary harm. There are times where harm is necessary. We have to eat to survive. There are other situations where we have to harm. I suggest that we do not go out of our way to cause undue harm, and we don't allow undue harm to happen, because there again, if we choose to allow something to happen, then that's a choice we make, and that choice is we still should be and are held accountable to that choice by whatever mechanical means universal mechanical means we believe in, whether it be karma or whatever. So to choose to do nothing and allow harm is just as bad, in my opinion, as causing the harm itself. So, in thinking about this all together, if we align ourselves to our true will, and we use that as our guiding principle, tying in all this other stuff that we've talked about in other videos, the whole integrity, the high road, all this, ethics, values, morality, all this just falls into place if we follow our true will. Is it always possible? We're human. We make mistakes. If we didn't make any mistakes, we wouldn't be learning, because it's through our mistakes we learn, and it's very important that we learn. It's part of what we're here for. Life is said to be like a classroom. It's here that we're taught things, or we're taught to remember things that our soul already knows. We know what's right and wrong. We know what the right choices are in situations down deep inside of ourselves. We know what we should be doing. Do we choose to do them? Hopefully we will. I know I've made bad choices, and I've made bad choices knowing they were bad choices. And I'm sure all of us have. We learn from those choices. We learn from those bad choices. We learn from our good choices too, because now we know that that's a good choice, and it settles into ourselves, it settles into our souls, and we learn from that. We're growing, we're constantly evolving, we're moving forward. Sometimes we'll hit a plateau, and we'll feel like we're not making any progress, but that's a time where, in my opinion, that we're internalizing the lessons that we learned so far. If we keep going, if we keep true to your highest ideal, always stay true to yourself. All these things that we've heard from the sages past, in different references and different languages and different ways of speaking, all these things have been told to us over and over and over again if we could just listen and internalize and realize that the answer is within us. The answer is within us. And it harm none. Do as ye will. With the will being capitalized, if we remind ourselves that we're talking about, or we could be talking about, our true will, our calling, our purpose in life. Always take the high road. Always make the choice that's best. It's not always easy, not always fun. There's a saying that says all true knowledge comes through pain. This is true. We're not talking physical pain, not just physical pain. We're not talking psychological pain or emotional pain or spiritual pain. We're talking about all of it, any of it. Everything we truly learn comes through pain and suffering. Maybe a little bit, maybe a lot. But in order for it to internalize, to really take hold in our souls, down deep inside of us, there has to be some kind of sacrifice. There has to be some kind of sacrifice. Think back to just learning your multiplication tables. You sacrificed time. You frustrated. There was sacrifice. There was pain. There was suffering. All the way through even larger things that we learn, there's always pain and suffering. In the end, you must be willing to suffer to learn. Going back, and it harm none, do as you will. If we align ourselves to our true will, and we do our best to make our decisions based on that, then we are going to take the middle road in the harm none. I'm going to leave this right where it's at. Leave it open. I'd like for people to write in, video in, tell me what you think. Let's discuss this. Let's move forward. Let's learn together. I invite you to check out my website, my other videos. Check out my WordPress site. Look around. Find out who I am. Tell me what you think. I'd really enjoy hearing from you. Please share, comment as you were led. And this is Reverend Onyx, Lady of the Circle and the Oaks. I thank you for watching this video. In all things, may you bless.